Hello, Gisela here again with a little mic in the Black Lodge. Obviously, this is not a reaction video since it's, well, local time in Sweden. It's Saturday evening or Saturday night. So, what this is questions that have come up so far in season 3 up until episode 10. Okay, so here we go. It's gonna be a lot, and I won't have the time to put a lot of pictures into each thing that I'm talking about. So this is pretty much for a hardcore person who knows what I'm talking about already. So I'm sorry about that, but I just don't have the time. In the first episode, or the first 2 episodes, 1 and 2, the first question I have is the scene with Cooper and the giant. When is that in the timeline? It's in the future. I think we will see that scene again. The insurance guy is showing up at the sheriff's apartment and talking to Lucy. Does he have any significance? Something is odd about him. He left like kind of in a hurry. What about the scene with Hawk saying, "Once again, you and I are on the same page," to the log lady? We don't get an explanation for that scene, and I feel it's pretty odd. What was that thing in the trunk of Belle Hastings' car? That fleshy thing. Did Mr. C actually kill Jack? I know most people assume he did, but I'm not sure. We only take his word for it because he says to Daria before he kills her that he had actually killed Jack. But the only thing we see actually is this weird thing and nothing else. So if we are to believe that he killed Jack for real, then we're just gonna have to take his word for it. I'm not ready to take Mr. C's word for just about anything. What is Laura whispering to Agent Cooper in the Black Lodge? We know that in the original run of Twin Peaks, the thing that she whispered was very important. The doppelganger of the evolution of the arm screams non-existent. And why is that written like non-existent? By the way, I'm not saying that all of these questions are like hugely important to the plot line. It's just my questions, you know? It's subjective as hell, basically. What are those scratch marks on the ace of spades playing card? Noticeable scratch marks around that symbol. Okay, so episode 3 then. Who's Naido or Naido, and what happened to her after she is just released into outer space? How was Dougie Jones manufactured? I mean, technically or practically, how? When Agent Cooper transmitted from the power station world, everyone is talking about his shoes being left behind. But what about his FBI pin? Because that is also missing. Before he transmits, he has it, and afterwards, he has it not. So that's the question. Part 4, right? What about the owl that we can hear and see when the limo driver drops him off at Lancelot Court? What about it? What was up with the flower bouquet on the chair in Denise Bryson's office? Will we find out something else about Danny Craig, the boy who OD'd at the high school? Why is Mr. C repeating himself in jail, but not outside of jail up until then? He's just repeating himself I was on my way to see you. Very weird way of talking. Who was the man in Colombia? Albert gave information to Jeffries years ago, and then the man in Colombia was dead 1 week after that. Who was that man in Colombia? Episode 5. How did Dougie Jones's wedding ring end up in the headless body? Why did Cooper start to cry when he saw Sonny Jim in the car? Why do they buy coffee for Frank at Lucky 7 Insurance if Frank's never drinks the coffee anyway? Why is Cooper so mesmerized by the cowboy statue? What were the circumstances in which the 16 hits on Major Briggs's fingerprints came up? Who is Mr. Strawberry? Who did Mr. C call from prison saying the cow jumped over the moon? Episode 6. Why is Sonny Jim turning on the lights when he's about to sleep? And also, why is it called cowboy light? For how long did Jade and Dougie Jones, the real Dougie Jones, have an affair? Why isn't Janie E noticing that Dougie's wedding ring is missing? That leads to the question, what about the owl cave ring? Because if he had that on and it's not there anymore, no one has been wondering where it is. Mike appears saying, now one of you must die, referring to the two Coopers. But that was in episode 6 and now we're up to 10, so how long can they both exist before that has to happen? What is the significance of the stairs and the ladders that Cooper, in the role of Dougie Jones, is drawing all the time? The bar where Diane is at is called Max Funds. I say, obviously I'm Swedish, so the first thought that I have is Max von Sydow, one of the greatest actors from Sweden. He was in The Exorcist, and you probably know who he is. He's amazing. Is that referring to him or something else? The next one is about Red. Is Red practicing the left-hand path? And if you don't know what that is, Google the left-hand path. I am pretty convinced that he is. He holds his left hand out and he says, have you ever studied your hand? Why did Carl Rod move Fat Trout Trailer Park from Deer Meadow to outside of Twin Peaks? He says, if I walk with me, I've already gone places. I just want to stay where I am. Why is Richard Horn driving someone else's car when he's got one of his own? When the hit and run accident, or I don't know if to call it accident or what, when that occurred, why are the onlookers around, just standing around, just horrified like this? I would run the damn over and try to help. The only one who does that is Carl Rudd. I wouldn't stand shaking my head, that's for sure. I don't know if it's bad acting or bad, I don't know. It's just weird. A kid died, a woman is devastated. Why are everyone standing like this? Does Carl Rudd have special abilities to see and receive supernatural things, like when he sees the spirit or the essence of the kid? Is that because he was abducted along with the log lady and another boy when they were children? Will Ike the Spike ever be able to get over the fact that his spike is bent? Who put those pages in the bathroom stall door at the sheriff's department. Are the pages really from Laura's secret diary? Or are they from a notebook? I'm not gonna go into it too much, but there are things that point to it isn't from Laura Palmer's diary. She already gave it to Harold Smith, and also the pages don't look like they're torn out, they look pretty sharp to me. This is just my, I hate Chad. If you watch my previous videos, you know this. So this is my question about fucker Chad. How was he able to become a police officer in the first place? And since he's such an asshole, how is he able to keep his job? Who is Mickey's friend, Linda? Part 7. What's on the page, the one page that Hawk is referring to from Laura's diary that is still missing? What illness does Harry S. Truman really suffer from? A lot of people speculate that it's cancer, but we don't know. Why is the farmer that Andy talks to not fond of talking to Andy at all, and very nervous and saying, no, please go, you have to talk to me later? And why isn't he showing up? Which leads to the question, did Richard kill this guy? And what the hell is in that house? Because we see the camera zooming in and weird, unsettling noises zooming into that. So it's like, oh, he's dead. How did Fish end up in Dr. Haywood's trousers? Where is Major Briggs's head? Did Lieutenant Knox see that woodsman character in the corridor? Or did she just sense some kind of presence? Who took the picture of Mr. C outside of his glamorous house with the pool and the palm trees? And how did they get it? Was Diane always a heavy drinker? Did Warden Murphy kill Mr. Strawberry? Why didn't Ike the Spike shoot Cooper sooner than he did? Like, right away. And how could a piece of Ike the Spike's palm, like not a piece, like a chunk of his palm, stick to the gun and somehow just stay there? What is that sound in Ben's office? What is wrong with Beverly's husband, Tom? What is this new Renault character, Jean-Michel? What's his relation to the Renault brothers? Personally, I don't think he's another brother. Who is Bill? Or Billy? Anyone seen Billy? Is there anything significant with the double R scene because of the fact that the customers are suddenly sitting somewhere else? Part 8. Why does Warden Murphy, how does he think that he will get away with setting Ray and Mr. C free like that from prison? How did Ray get that gun? Was he working with Warden Murphy? After he shoots Mr. C, what is making the woodsman appear? Where did Bob go? What was it that the woodsmen were doing with Mr. C's body after he was shot? Was it some kind of ritual? What does Ray mean by saying something inside Cooper that may be the key to what it's all about? What is up with the pine cone on the microphone stand at the Roadhouse? Is the experiment related to the experiment model? Does the Bob orb originate from the experiment, or did the orb piggyback or like hitching a ride, so to speak, with the eggs that came out of the experiment? Is the resident of Senorita Dido and question mark Giant Is that the same place as the place with the violet sea where Cooper arrives at in episode 3? What is that moth frog thing? Why does that woodsman guy with the beard really badly need a light? Episode 9. Is it the farm that Mr. C arrives at? And if it is, why isn't Ray there waiting for him, as he said to Mr. Jeffries or whoever that really was? Also, the people who are like slumped over by the corner of a wooden shed or house, are they dead or are they passed out or sleeping? Around the dinner table, the conversation is lively. Was that sent directly from Mr. C to Diane? Personally, I don't think so. I think it was sent through Mr. Todd, but it's still a question since we don't know. Is Bushnell Mullins' fist making that he does, and also a little bit of a sour face, is that a reference to Lil from Fire Walk with Me? You know, the Blue Rose girl. Or is it something about his boxing career and he's frustrated? Or is it nothing? Was Dougie Jones manufactured in 1997? Why is Johnny Horn running full speed into a wall headfirst? Is Diane working secretly with Mr. C? And if she is it because she is evil, or is it because she wants to backstab him or something? Or is he just being misled? Jerry being lost in the woods and the foot and everything, is that a metaphor? Or is that actually what happens? Is he only high and lost? Or is it a metaphor, or is it something else? Why is Shad reading the magazine Lock and Load on his lunch break? Being a Swede, I had to look this up. It's like a gun crazy kind of person's magazine. I'm sure people will bash me for that statement, but anyways, it's just a different culture here. Is the noise in Ben's office related to the metal container from Major Briggs and that sound that it makes when Bobby throws it at the ground? Is Major Briggs's drawing inside of that metal container? Is that a reference to some kind of astrological positioning of the moon and the sun? It wouldn't be the first time since that was the case with the maps to the Black Lodge, more or less. Why is Tammy Preston posing constantly? What was it that actually killed Major Briggs? We know that he died from decapitation, which is horrible, but what were the circumstances around that? What or who was Major Briggs hiding from when he was inside of the zone? Did Ben do something with that key, that 315 key? What did he do with the key? We didn't hear anything else about that. What is that rash that Ella, the blonde girl at the roadhouse, is just full of, and it's just disgusting? Will it spread? Will we get a Walking Dead episode? Finally, part 10. Why are so many people living in trailers? Will Miriam survive? She was breathing when Richard Horn left her. And the trailer. What is up with the many red balloons, the red shoes, the red scarves, and the red coffee cups, etc., etc., etc.? Why is Becky asking Shelley for money, but she's not asking her mom to help her to get out of the very, very bad relationship that she has with Steven? It's not that easy, I guess, if you're in an abusive relationship to leave someone who knows what he's capable of. Please ask your mom to do whatever it takes to get you away from snotty Steven. What is up with Candy? Who the fuck plans for someone else's birthday for 6 months? Seriously? You have a birthday once a year and you will plan for it for 6 months? Is Nadine living in her business space? Because she's always there. Does Nadine have a crush on Dr. Jacoby? Where's Big Ed? Are they also separated like it seems like Sylvia and Ben are? Who the fuck is Chad trying to fool with his bullshit that he is playing out in front of Lucy? She's smarter than that, I can tell you. Did Chad actually pick the wrong letter out of the letter delivery? God, I hope he did. Then I have a question about Johnny's robot teddy bear English accent. Hello, Johnny. How are you today? It has real human teeth. And so I wonder whose teeth are that? What did Constance and Albert talk about during their dinner? What was that thing that Gordon Cole was drawing on his notepad? When Gordon Cole opens the door and sees Laura Palmer, was that vision some kind of cry for help from the other side from Laura? Or was it some kind of warning about something? What was it that Gordon Cole could feel, that he said that he could feel and sense when he hugged Diane and allegedly felt that something was wrong? Who is that second man on the photograph from the glass box alongside Mr. C? When Albert spoke about the reply text that Diane sent, he said that it was a heavily encrypted message. Was he being sarcastic or was it actually encrypted? And the final question for me is, will I be able to get up at 4 a.m. again for the third time in a row to do this new reaction video to episode 11 on Monday morning? I'm not providing any answers. I just wanted to throw out there the questions that I have and that I have been thinking about. It's not all of them, of course. And I see you, I guess. Take it easy meanwhile.